Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Yes, it's still a Happy New Year. And I am very grateful to be here today. And I know you also are. To, to gather again together in the new year 2022. Welcome. God has been gracious to us all, and we're thankful. So, welcome to Alumni Conversations. This is the fifth episode we're holding, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad we're back together again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Have a prosperous and glorious new year, and we look forward to meeting again. Remember, our meetings are once we have it once a month, third third Saturday of each month, and you don't want to miss it. Remember that the initiative of this great program is by the alumni of the LinkedIn group, and our objective is basically to stay in touch, to engage, to support one another. The best possible ways we can. Some through mentorship, coaching, um, training, rubbing minds together, throwing ideas, so that there's nobody left behind in the group. Yes. So it's a wonderful initiative, and one of the ways we express that is to have one of us come and share with the rest of us, not just success stories. Um, Usually, our stories end up being successful, but then they will share with us from how it started. And of course, there's no way to not be linked to our great school, Federal Government College, Idoani. So, without further ado, um, we shall proceed. We shall proceed to meet with our guest for today, Dr. Oladapo Asiyanbi, of the 1990 set. Hello, dear Dr. Oladapo.
Hello.
Do you see me?
Good evening, everybody. Good evening here in
Good
Nigeria.
evening.
I know we're all connected around the globe, so good day, everyone.
nice,
Also,
nice to have you. Nice to have you on alumni conversations. Welcome,
I'm glad to be here.
welcome. So
Yeah,
I'm
yes, we
going
did.
to engage. I'm going to engage Doctor a bit before I tend to read his very luscious, very well, it will be compact, his profile. When I saw it, I thought, oh my goodness, you don't any people are doing stuff, as in, stuff. But I had the privilege of catching up with him before this time, so I have a good idea of the plenty stuff that he's doing. So while the back of house is going to set that up for us, I will continue my conversation with the doctor. Doc, I remembered you in school. I remembered you very
Seriously?
well. Were you a
Mm,
prefect?
of course
Remind
not.
me.
At all. At
Did you say
all.
at all?
At all. I was never a prefect.
What were you? You were a naughty person. Eh?
I was just a quiet guy,
You were
going
a quiet
about
guy.
my Idoani business in my own way.
Ah,
I'm,
okay.
I'm
So
sure
the
many
rest
people
of
will not
you,
remember me, sir.
1990 said people sending me chat now. Let me know whether this is a true or false, whether this is a myth or a fact matter. Since
What
me,
do
I
you
can't
know?
remember.
Uh, Most
Oh,
people will not
one of
remember
the
me.
things.
I was just doing
Say
my
that
own
again.
thing in my own little corner. I was just doing my own thing in my own little corner till I passed through Idoani and Idoani passed through me. So that's all.
What's interesting now is that you are no longer in the little corner with the sort of
Are you
platform because of
serious?
what you do now.
I am. This world is very big. I'm in my small little corner, still doing my own little thing.
Okay.
The way Idoani has put some in me, and I've used that pedestal to grow in life.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay, so Doc, I want you to connect the dots for us. I
Okay.
want you to connect the dots for us. So from Iduani, How did you become this wonderful doctor in public health? How did that happen? Epidemiologist, right? One big name. You sent me
the
to
wonderful
the
part.
dictionary.
The wonderful part I cannot say, but I can say that okay. So from Idoani, I first had a stint at Yaba College of Tech. At that time, jammed me. Instead of staying at home, I started an OND in civil engineering in Yaba Tech. But by the end of my first year, I finally got admission to University of Lagos, which was what I intended to be, to study medicine. So I went in, did the medicine, finished in year 2000. I finished in year 2000. While I was in medical school, my dream was to be a pediatrician because I don't like seeing children cry, and I felt, well, if they are ill, if you can make them well, they'll stop crying. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to be a pediatrician. I still love pediatrics. However, in my penultimate year, my final year in medical school, so in College of Medicine, University of Lagos, we do like 8 to 9 months of community health and public health study for the final year. Basically, that's what you do. So from the 2nd to the 5th year, you learn medicine that can take you anywhere in the world. But the final year, I think College of Medicine wants to Nigerianize their doctor. So we do 1 year of community health only. We don't do any other thing. So during my community health year, my final year, while I was being trained to a Nigerian doctor, that's a doctor who can function in Nigeria. So I realized that some of the tenets of that community health, public health, primary health care, I loved it. I began to love it. So we learn management, you learn public health, you learn community health. We'll go to Ibejuleki. You stay with the village people for 2 weeks, provide health service, they leave, collect a data, do a survey, so you understand their common health problem, you talk to them, then you try to find solution locally with them, and I began to love it. In fact, one of those postings, we realized that one of the communities there, villages, they seem to have a relatively, how would I call it, mild blood pressure, but also we're really concerned that how can people who live in a rural setting be having BP? Not too high, but it's like a bit common, so we're worried. So we wanted to find out why, and then we found out that one of their diets is they take garri with salt, not sugar.
Really?
Which was strange to me, yeah. And so we theorized that maybe it's their salt intake that was high. Of course, that will take a long time to find out, but those things reshaping my, how do I call it, my future career as to which branch of medicine I want to put my energy in.
Yeah.
And then because of the management study and all that, so I realized, well, it might be better to actually be a doctor of community than to be a doctor in a clinic. So that's the difference. If you're a community health doctor, a public health physician, rather than a surgeon or a pediatrician or a psychiatrist, right?
Yes.
Majority of your work is, so your patient is not one, your patient is a group, a community. So while you are a physician, a surgeon, you see one patient give malaria. Let's say a patient comes to you with malaria, you treat and the person goes away. But if you're a community health or public health physician, the whole community is your patient. So you'll be looking how many people in this community have malaria, how many people in this community have diabetes. So you will like why? So you have to study people, places, time, and events.
Yeah.
As opposed to single person treatment, time, and event. It's now group of people. So I realized, well, if we're able to treat communities, then the chances are that fewer people will be ill and will need to go to hospital.
Bingo.
Exactly. So that was how my love for community health began. And then during my youth service here, I ended up in a very rural village in Katsina.
Katsina?
Katsina, yes. The local government in Dusima, and the village is Karufi. So the community became my patient. So I was the only doctor in their health center, which happens to be a primary health care center. So I tried to help them. And while I was there, we improved the immunization status of that village from like 20% to like 55%.
Whoa.
So it wasn't one person, it was a group of persons. And I worked with quite a lot of them. So that's one of the things I did. Also, during my youth service here, I started the NYC HIV/AIDS club in Katsina State.
You started the NYC what?
HIV/AIDS club in Katsina State.
How does that? Please tell us what that entails.
No, I was just passionate about. Then HIV was relatively new. I mean, 2000. HIV in the world over started the whole story in like 1984. The first case in Nigeria was 1986. So now it's 2003. So it's barely 12, 13 years or so. There was still a lot of stigma. There was still a lot of discrimination. Nobody wanted to be diagnosed of being HIV. And as youth core members, one of the goal of the core is impacting your local community. And I realized that there was nothing going on as far as HIV among the core members. Even some of them didn't know or didn't know how to. So I formed a CD group in the camp, and we liaised with UNICEF, and I started that CD group myself. And I started going to like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 local governments to set up chapters. And the HIV/AIDS club has grown since then. It's still waxing stronger there. I got a state commendation for that.
Yes, it was commendable, wasn't it?
So my youth service finished, came back to Lagos, joined the public health service. So I had the option of going to work in a general hospital or work in a local government. So I decided to go and work in a local government where primary care and public health care is really practiced more than clinical care.
Okay.
Unfortunately, my pay was like 30% of what a fellow doctor in a general hospital was earning. But I didn't care because I was passionate for primary health care and public health. So I went in there and my career has grown to it since then. Worked in Lagos State. Out of the 20 local government, I think I would have worked now in 9 out of 20. And I've risen through the rank to contribute my little quota to the public health space in Lagos and Nigeria. So here I am today. So 2020, 2020, COVID comes along.
Yes.
And what has been the yeah. Well, now when COVID came, it had 2 impacts. One impact was negative. We're not prepared. Our health system was relatively weak because a chain is as strong as its weakest link. And the weakest link in Nigerian system is the primary healthcare system. And that's the system that's supposed to take care of 80% of our health problem. So when COVID came, the teaching hospitals were okay. They could set up an isolation center to do clinical care. They could treat people in the general hospital. Unfortunately, to do the testing, the tracing, the community engagement, that's at the primary care, at the local government, the ward, and the community level. It was seriously poorly resourced. Secondly, public health is not a popular branch of medicine because the job is to keep people healthy. So if you are well, it stops you from being well. And most people apparently are well most times, right? So it doesn't look like fanciful thing. So if somebody has appendicitis and they do a surgery and the person is alive, everybody will shout. Or somebody has brain problem and they do a surgery, what a very fantastic doctor. But a child is well, you give vaccine so that the child will not be sick. You have not done anything because the child's status has really not changed. Nothing magical has been done. So public health is not really a very popular branch of medicine. So
wow.
Yeah, so what we do is similar to what people in like CDC and CDC do. It's not very popular. It's only COVID that made it popular. Now, COVID now made public health come to the fore because all those things that everybody had to now do it. And I remember the first day the case was announced in Lagos.
Mm-hmm.
COVID in Nigeria and was announced in Lagos. I got a call from channels that they needed somebody to speak that they needed somebody to speak on air at 8 a.m. because Nigerians will start panicking and somebody needed to try and make sense of the whole thing. Even that was just about some minutes or so before the minister spoke. So I went on air. I was like, okay, this is what will happen. One, my recommendations are one, I see that the best way to manage this is to form an interministerial committee. Then the president or somebody nominated by the president, but it must be in the presidency because that's where the power and everything will come from. Right. And that testing and tracing will come on. And I hope that very soon the vaccine and immunization can come. Well, because it's a disease of the air, let me put it like that, Nigerians are going to have a bit of fear and tough time because we still don't understand and the way we live is going to be difficult. Right. So 2 months down the line, the president finally decided, or about a month that they formed a presidential task team. And that method was replicated at the state and some local government level, and that's the way we've been responding. So finally, we get a vaccine, and the people who go out to do the vaccination are public health team. And that's what we've been doing for the last 2 years, thereabout. So we're here now. So that's my life in brief from Idoani till date. So I think people will have a bit of understanding of how things work. So I'm happy to be on this call. I'm happy to exchange or give idea of what life has been and what life will be. We are here now, we are alive. We have learned better how to manage and live with COVID. And it will not get the better of us. So that's basically it. It's been interesting, a very interesting journey. Okay, I can see that Yetunde is offline. But so my passion generally still remains, has always been, and will remain public health at the primary healthcare level. Like I said, that is the base of our health system. If we can get it right, then we will say El Dorado to giving universal health coverage to Nigerians. Now, some of the things that I'm passionate about in primary healthcare is I think we should have better funding. I mean, it is the base of our health system, but it receives the least of the funding. I think there should be better accountability. There should be more human resource trained and allowed to foster and practice public health properly. I think with that, we'll almost be there. There's definitely a need to reform Nigeria's health system, but more importantly, Nigeria's primary healthcare system. If we're able to do that, then we will not be looking at Cuba as if they've done something very big. They really have not. All they've done is focus on primary healthcare, and then the rest of the health system will take care of itself. So it's been nice. And I hope we can get all the support we have. And I hope more people will be advocates of the public health system so that we can get there and not have Nigerians, die of very common things: malaria, TB, HIV, diarrhea, what else? I think that's basically it. If we're able to tackle all those, we're able to we're able to work with people. Now, the good thing, one of the key tenets of primary care is community participation. So everybody must know the way the health system works. Let me give an example. So it's a bottom-up approach. It starts from your home. It goes from your home to the community around you, so maybe your resident association. Then from the resident association, it goes on to the political ward. Then from there to the local government. At that level, you have sorted things, then you've sorted everything out. There's nothing that happens that in our home, in our streets, that we don't have an idea. If we don't, the organizer will know. The person who is selling bread, the pepper seller, the person who blends, somebody will know something is happening in the community. And so things don't just happen, how would I call it, isolated, in an isolated manner. And that's the way primary health care is. So when those things happen, we manage locally, and then we won't need to go to maybe a general hospital and all that. So if you know the primary care center closest to where you live and you're in Nigeria, then everything will work. Okay, so what is the state of vaccine intake in Nigeria, especially Lagos State? Okay, I think as at the last time, Lagos State had done almost 20% of its target population of about 8 million, just about 8 million. So that brings us close to like 1.7, 1.8 million. We're still not there. However, Nigerians have a very difficult time with COVID, the first, the second leg down, and the lack of trust. So we're still pushing on, but we have changed our strategies to. So we are now in the third phase of that COVID vaccination. The first phase and the second phase were basically waiting for people to come to us in the health facilities. However, in public health, you have to go to the people. So we've changed our strategy to what we call an outreach model. So we leave the facility and go to community. So if you look around Lagos, you see people going to churches, mosques, schools, markets to get people vaccinated where they do their business, so to give them access and easy. Oh, well, what keeps me going? Sometimes I even ask myself, I don't even know. However, every time something good happens in this system, I'm happy. Let me give you what I mean by that. So, in the last 3 or 4, 5, in the last 10 years that I've been in the public health primary health care system in Lagos State, every local government I've worked in, I've ensured that at least they have one additional primary health care clinic that runs a 24-hour service, so that when people are ill at night, they'll have where to go. So for me, that dream is such that you reach universal health care. So imagine somebody living in, let me use one of the local government I've worked in Lagos Island. So pregnant women who live in low axis now need to go to General Hospital, Lagos, to go for antenatal clinic. So they have to take one bus from that area and go through CMS and come down, or take Okada. Meanwhile, there's a primary health care system in Oladapo. All you just need to do is just get more staff, get the place funded, increase sometimes you save them all that trouble. And that has been the new model I'm using. Most places I've worked, I've pushed, I've trudged, I've done everything possible to improve access to healthcare. So that keeps me going. But I see that pregnant woman who doesn't need to climb an Okada to go and get care. just less than 2 to 3 kilometers away. It means a lot. It really means a lot. So I think that's what has kept me going, to ensure that people access healthcare, they understand it, and they partner in a way as to improve and take charge of their own health. So I think that is what has kept me going, and I think it will keep me going, because challenges are not over. So that's it. That's basically what keeps me going. I'm not sure we're going to reach there in my lifetime, but we're going to push hard to move closer to the goal. So that's it. That's basically it. When I was, I remember when I was in Ikeja local government, the federal government piloted, how will I call it, the provision of healthcare, HIV/AIDS to pregnant women. That's women who have HIV/AIDS. That's prevention of mother-to-child transmission. Before then, it was only in hospitals like Luth and general hospitals that pregnant women who had HIV/AIDS could get care. But MTN Foundation, Hope Worldwide, state government and federal government chose one of the health centers that was the head of Ojodu PHC. And we done a project with them for 3 years. We were able to care for about 50 pregnant women who had HIV/AIDS. And at the end of the day, I think only 2 of them, their children became positive. And that's less than 5% failure rate. And I was so glad at the close out of that project. We had 5% failure rate. Wow, that's like forever. I was so glad. And because of that, primary health care was included as part of the places where pregnant women who had HIV/AIDS could be managed, could give birth, such that their children will not be HIV positive. And so I've had some highlights, some good highlights. So it's been fun and it's been rewarding. Thank you very much. What else can we do without passion? I think this country deserves many more people who have passion for their area of practice. If all of us can be passionate about what we do and do it well in our area of expertise, in our small little corners. So imagine all the young people who are like half of our population, 50 million. In their 50 million small corners, do good. I'm sure this country will explode and people will not know it again. But they will remember it for good. So it's just a sum. It's just a sum of little things that we all can do to make this country the dream country that we want it to be. And I'm very passionate about that I know that this country will definitely be a signage of all eyes for good things.
Amen. We agree. We really agree, and we're looking forward to it. Mr. Bolaji, Senior Bolaji, thank you. You covered for me very well. Okay, I think this is better. You covered for me very well. Yeah. Although you're just not quite there, Duran, but it's okay. I have to do some coaching for you, but you're good. Doctor, my goodness. Yeah. So in a nutshell, will you say that we should thank COVID for public health people or what? Because if I say it's COVID that brought people to limelight.
No. We shouldn't thank COVID.
No, we shouldn't.
Because many people are.
Okay. Oh, now what? Why don't they want us to gist? Okay, so while Dr. Asiyanbi will get back on track, we will continue to wait on him. But then it's so interesting to know, I mean, when we shared privately, how much of a difference I know he's being very nice and humble but honestly,
Okay.
the sort of impact that
So sorry.
this has made. That's okay. Okay, he's back.
Yeah. The little part of Nigeria has happened to us again, so don't worry.
I know. You know, there was a time I won't lie to you, I used to dread this thing. Then I thought, wait a minute. Unless you don't live here, this is part of this is part of it.
This is part of us now.
This is part of us. So for those of us who are going to start to think outside the box to create a more permanent thing, some of us will have to start to get into the positions of maybe leadership. Yeah. This is it. You know, so I was saying to myself that they take like, what will I do? I said nothing, no need. So you have made it you have made it very see, and you flowed. I'm so happy. I'm happy to see this. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So
I just put on my phone. I just put on the touch in my phone. It's in front of my camera. And that's all.
But you know how it is with us Nigerians now. You know, we don't carry last. We will find a way out. We don't get stuck. You can't put us in the corner.
If there is a will, there's always a way.
When there's a will,
there's always a way. Unless you don't want to look for it.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. Okay, so one other question I want to. Okay, I have many questions.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to particularly ask you: can you tie having gone through Idoani to your success story now? Because that's important for us, those of us listening.
No, definitely. Okay. So I can say two things. One, independence. The ability to be independent and overcome challenges were very key.
Okay.
Because there are times where you are on this job and you're all alone and everybody expects you to make the decision. So I've been the head of the primary healthcare department now for like 12 years in different local governments. And you know the way it is, if you are the leader, when there's problem,
everything is on you. Yes.
Solution. Yes. So even if you are pulling the team, they will say, okay, now start now. So they want you to take that first step.
Yeah.
And then you must take that first step, knowing that many people are watching you and need to follow the lead. And that Idoani taught me very well. Very, very well.
Okay.
It gave me a sense of independence and ability to.
So what I would like is can you give me a practical example of that? I would like a practical example so you can see maybe just tell me what it was in Idoani and what it is now.
Okay. So so there are times in school where you have to get ready, get exams done. Okay, so let me tell you, my first week in Idoani, I'd never done music before where I was. So here I am in Idoani, and I'm seeing all those octave and all those. I'm like, wow, what is this? What is this? And I'm like, wow. Bros, you must learn this thing by force. Or else, all the community money they used to send you to school, you just cannot afford to fail. And here I was there reading that there's this red music textbook for like 2 days. That was the only thing I was staring at. I still did not understand it, and I had to. And the music test was in like 3 days.
Yeah.
I had to find a way to learn it. I had to beg some of my colleagues who knew it. I had to just say, okay, please explain this thing. The way this teacher is explaining, I don't get it now. So they know now, if you look at this octave now, this one is octave, this one is crucial. What's this semi-demi quiver?
Semi-demi quiver.
Yes.
I remember.
So by the time the person says, okay, look, this is how you start. There is the A, E. Well, I said, okay. Then these are the notes that, okay. So I started from the very beginning. So I did that. I went into my little corner and I crunched the book like almost 10 or 15 pages.
No.
Since I understood it. So it taught me that, look, when you want to go forward, it's best you understand the problems around you. Then you'll be able to apply it going forward. So I've always done that. So now, even as a doctor, oftentimes some of my friends and colleagues, if as a problem, they were like, just ask Dr. Asiyanbi this. I'm like, I don't understand it, but wait, what is the reason this thing happened? What are the basic principles? And you keep reapplying them, doesn't matter how complex it is, and then you put them together, and then you have a full picture. So it's like having the different sections of the picture, and you paint it until you see the whole picture. So that has always been the way I've seen that life is not as difficult as it is if you take it from the basic to the complex. You'll get there. It might take you longer.
Interesting.
Your feet are on surer ground.
So you can really tie that to Idoani?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Always been.
Okay, so is there anything not quite a success story that you went through? Because a few times people have asked, and it's like, is it only successful people are bringing on the show? I'm thinking everybody has, before the success, there's a story. So tell us the rough times. Tell us about the rough times and how you came out.
Many stories, not even one. Let me tell you one or two. Okay. So in my second year in medical school, I got so distracted with what you call social activities.
Yeah.
That medical school exams are 1 year. We don't do semester. So it's a whole year.
Oh, wow.
So if you're reading, you have to read for the whole year. So it's like doing two to three semesters at once. But I was so distracted with social activities as a student. In fact, then I was staying, because the medical school in University of Lagos is in Idiaraba. Then the rest of the university is in Akoka.
Yes, you are more in Akoka, Abi. You are more in Akoka.
Are you sure you're a medical student? I didn't prepare well. I failed one of my courses, pharmacology. Yeah. I had to repeat it. Yes, but however, it made me a better person who understand pharmacology and drug medicine better, because now I had to read, because that was the only course I now read for 1 whole year. I passed all the other courses, only that one. So I had to do that one for 1 whole year. So imagine reading one course for 1 whole year out of 5.
Oh, wow.
So that made me somebody who understands drug interaction better as a doctor. So there was light at the end of there was light at the end of the tunnel for that. Yeah. Okay. That's one big challenge. And I remember then that I was so embarrassed to tell my parents that I feel, because it never happened to me before. And I swear it will never happen again.
Can you imagine? So please, I want to hear inner gist. How did you tell them? I hope, did they beat you? Don't let me say I hope. What they did to you? Tell us.
The issue was, they couldn't believe it. They said it's a lie. It's not possible.
Oh, wow.
Because I was a top class student all the time. So it sounded like, this guy must be joking. It cannot be serious. So
when they found out you were serious, what happened? How did it end?
They were so disappointed, and of course I knew that I had a lot that I let myself down more than I even let them down. So that was that. So I just picked myself up and faced the challenge and did it again, passed and moved on. Okay, yeah. So the year before, that was the 3rd year. So the year before that, I almost failed. That one was funny, but that was like a how do you call it now? A natural thing that I couldn't stop.
Doc, you didn't gist me all this corner gist. You didn't make me laugh like this. Now you're in public.
My 200 level, this one I talked about was my 300 level. My 200 level. Okay. So we do anatomy, physiology, biochemistry in medical school. So the basic medicine, basic science.
Yeah.
So anatomy was the last subject. So we do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So on Friday, we're supposed to do the anatomy. So Thursday to Friday night, I was reading, and lo and behold, by the morning, I had appendicitis. I was acute appendicitis, emergency. So I have emergency surgery. So my colleagues went to do exam. I was in the theater. Of course, in medical school, that meant that since I didn't sit for the exam, I failed. In quotes, I mean, there is nothing like they cannot, but they allow you to do a receipt within like 2 months. So immediately I was healing up. I was reading again because my name came out, did not sit for the exam, has a receipt. So I had to do a receipt, but I passed the receipt. And then I moved on to 300 level.
Doctor, you are very interesting. Because I don't know how that one is funny now, that you had appendicitis. People of alumni group. What? I was waiting for the joke. I'm sorry.
It happens to many people now. It's just a regular thing.
That's one of the things I noticed. That's one of the things I noticed about Doc. Doc would just be, it's like that now, it's like that. Is it a doctor thing or is it a you thing? They just don't seem to, anything doesn't seem to be a big deal.
No, but it's not, you move on. That's what I say. You don't need maybe that. You just move on. You just have to move on. You cannot linger on that problem or that challenge. You just move on.
I understand, but I was waiting for funny gist. I was waiting for the punchline. Anyway, you are here, so I know you survived it.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Interesting. So, sorry, before we go on, ladies and gentlemen, send in your questions. Come on, don't let him go like that. Oh, don't let him go like that. And remember, the conversation doesn't end here. On the LinkedIn group, I'm sure the link will be shown. You can go back and see, check out his full profile, and we'll put up different things from time to time. So please send in your questions, and just enjoy. Let me allow you guys enjoy him a bit. Okay. So, Doctor, you see questions for you. Please go ahead and enjoy. So we'll do like 3 questions. Because our time is far spent. So anyone that appeals to you, please go ahead and answer. And just let me allow them enjoy you small. I still have plenty to ask.
I'll keep asking. When they put the question, we'll just pause and give them priority.
Great. You mentioned that you play volleyball. You're active in playing volleyball.
Yeah.
And I remember asking you, when do you get the time? And casually you say, well, whatever is important to you, you find the time. I'm like, even me that I'm not crazy busy like you.
Okay,
to drag myself to even take a walk.
Yeah, I started learning volleyball in medical school.
Awesome. And I remember you encouraged me. That is not too late to start.
I became a member of the College of Medicine, Idiaraba medical student volleyball team. I think I went to like 3 universities for the college for medical student games.
Wow.
It was in Ibadan, I was in Ilorin, and I was also in Ibimi with the team.
Whoa.
Yeah. And since then I've always played volleyball if I see people who want to play and there's a court. So recently I started playing with other doctors in National Stadium every Saturday. In fact, they just came back from the doctors' games in Abuja. I couldn't be there because I had some things to do officially. I would have loved to come to Abuja to play. And good enough, my male team, they were second all over Nigeria, so it was nice.
Yay! Thumbs up.
So I wasn't there.
Thumbs up to you guys.
Next week, Saturday, I'll be back with them on the court at the National Stadium. So anybody who actually wants to play with us, they can come. They're welcome.
Did you hear? Those of you who can't get out of bed, stroll down, go and sit up. Go and sit up and his people.
Should come. We start by 8 and we end by 11.
And it's so interesting that other doctors are doing this. I'm very proud of you guys, because usually doctors, sometimes we find out that they don't take care of themselves as much as they make us take care of. They make us take care of ourselves.
It's not everybody, and some of us try to practice what we preach as much as possible.
That's good stuff. That is really good stuff. Very, very happy to hear that. So I remember also asking you that
any exercise they can. They shouldn't wait until they play volleyball. If you're able to do 30 minutes of brisk walking, at least 3 times a week, then you'll be fit. However, if you want to lose weight, you have to take it up a notch to do between 8 to 10,000 steps, and that will make you lose about 200 grams of weight per week. So yeah, no, 10,000 steps is like almost 10,000 steps is like almost 2 hours of work.
Yes, you're right.
So you're able to do, let's say, 1 hour in the morning, another 1 hour at night. Yeah, they're there. Or even if you can just keep it at 1 hour every day. That's like 5,000 steps.
What comforts me? Mine is cumulative. Does that have the same effect? So I will run around, make sure I walk around. Yes, I may get to 8,000 and something and all of that.
No, not those leisurely walk. No, that leisurely walk will help you to keep your heart okay, but will not make you lose weight. There's a difference.
Oh, okay.
It's better if 10,000 steps. Yeah, but if you even do 5,000 steps twice a day, that will help you.
Okay.
You can do one. We all get up like 5 to go to work, so it's not as if we cannot do it if we want to.
Great. Oh, I'm happy to hear that. So
from 5 to 5:45. That's good enough.
Yes.
And while you are doing that, yes, thank God now there is a lot of things are connected. So it can be, even for those who want to pray or read the Bible, you can be listening to it while you are working. For those who want to meditate and keep thinking about the day and doing their mental notes.
Yes.
So when you're done, you go get ready and go to work. Cool.
Easier. Okay. You're quite correct. So I remember you also said you played football. I was going to ask you why volleyball? Well, you said in school you actually played football.
Yeah, in school in Idoani, it was football. Because
and you were good.
I was fairly okay. But what I didn't like about football was the full contact nature. When you had friends who want to break your leg.
I know, right? Oh wow!
And one of the things I enjoy in football is how to dribble and make fun of people. So I got a lot of injuries from Idoani.
Now when you are making fun of them, what do you think will happen?
They will come after your leg and you pay for it. But volleyball is not like that. You're on different sides of the court, so you are likely not going to contact each other.
Yeah, and the people you are with are your people.
Yeah, but football is contact.
Yeah.
But I still play football once in a while if I have the opportunity.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so there's one particular one that, our time is looking very fast spent that I wanted to, in fact, there were two. We had two these topics, yes. You remember now. One about the mindset of women, but we'll leave that one for another day. When you were correcting me. Yeah, so that's another day. Then
that was a big topic.
Civil service mentality. Oh, that was
so. Well, everybody feels that everybody who is a civil servant is an evil servant.
Abby, sorry.
And that's not fair because it's not possible that everybody you meet in the civil service will behave the same way. But what happens is that you remember the bad event. So that's just it. The good ones you don't remember. And I feel it's unfair for some of us who try to do our best. And so please sing our song when we do good too.
Yes.
Of course, I know we'll not trend on Instagram for the good ones. Unfortunately.
Yes. People, you will not believe. When it registered to me that he was in public service, I was like, how is he coping in that kind of setup? And to be honest, Nigerian civil service can be very ish. But it gave me another perspective and it made me pause. That of a truth, what did you call it? Image laundry. That private sector.
We are not very good at laundering our good image at all.
Yes, you have issues in private sector as well. So it's just that the public, public sector is really public. So so you guys are in the fall.
Our issues happen more in the public than the private.
They are really in the public, man. They're in the public. What? Meanwhile, another thing I remembered I was very that registered with me was the fact that you have a different spirit. You're different from, I would not have thought, if I hadn't seen your profile, that you worked in public service. And I was just wondering how you managed to stand out with all the pressure. Because yeah, I know that you guys are not the baddest, but man, there's pressure in that sector, innit?
Yeah. Well, what you want in life and what you hold there and what you hope your community will become will push you to do what you need to do. There will always be temptation, there will be pressure.
Yeah.
You can't stop it. So you just be who you are and be the best light you can be within your area, so that people will have something to look up to and follow. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. So would you say you've been able to achieve that? To be the best light?
I won't know that. It's only people who can say that.
It's only people.
You cannot judge yourself. You just know what you want.
Are you sure about that?
No, you can't really judge yourself. It's people that will judge you. They can only say I'm doing my best. It's people that will say it's good enough or it's not good enough.
And on that note, we will release you for today. I'm not sure whether we'll have a repeat of this, but you have been most gracious. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing your best.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So before I finally let you go, with the current state of COVID, what would you leave with us? What would you say to us? Because now it's like everybody has removed masks. Sometimes I feel I'm the only one left who will still wear masks. So it's the mask. I don't want to shake people. I see people shaking people. I'm like, hey.
Because we've only vaccinated like 20% of our population in Lagos and less in other areas. So the only thing is that, while we're thinking COVID has gone or was never here, we have a very young population. 50% of our population is less than 18. And the people that COVID impacts the most are elderly. And we don't have many of them. Only 5% of our population are 65 years and above. 5%.
Wow.
Yes. With all our mindset that we have aged people in the village. They're not up to 5% of our
Really?
They're not up to 5% of our population, We think there are many, there are not many. So okay, so the other thing that will make you understand that our life expectancy is less than 55. What it means that if they gave that to you today, if you go over 55, then you are living extra time in Nigeria. However,
I can't close my mouth.
It's not that it's that bad. Because if you know where we're coming from, so like 30, 40 years ago, our life expectancy was 35. So with technology and medicine, our life expectancy has improved. Yes, people used to think that we used to live longer 40 years ago. No, not true. Not true.
Really?
Yeah. Let me explain why you will understand that. So that's why our father and forefathers, grandfather, used to have many children. And let me say from the Yoruba part, so you have children and they die early. So you have people say they have plenty of people. That's why now, if they had 10 children then, maybe 4 will survive. If you look around, that's what most people will tell you. That's what your grandfather will tell you, your fathers. That, we were many, but only 4 or 5 of us remain out of 12. So those are the things that add to low life expectancy, when most of them would have died at child.
Right. Okay.
It's because we see that makes 1 or 2 old people. When we go to the village, we believe everybody used to live long. Or somebody say, but one woman lives 101 years old. Those ones were like an exception. That's not the rule. So most of them have died before they are 50.
Oh, wow.
So with medicine and science, our life expectancy has improved by 15 years in over 40. Yeah. So that's the problem.
It has been quite enlightening. I'm really looking forward to you coming back. So what did you say we will be doing going forward now? I shouldn't mind. I should just be greeting people anyhow now.
Ensure you just get vaccinated, you and your loved ones. So you not become an accidental case of COVID. But very soon, COVID is not going anywhere. So you just become like a regular flu. So we'll find a way to live with it, manage it health-wise, and give people the right public health advisory. But for now, get vaccinated and keep safe.
Okay. But you know that vaccine. Sorry, I can't let you go quickly like that. Sorry. So,
Yes,
but for those who don't want to get vaccinated, what are you going to say? What do you have to say to
and
that?
they keep to the preventives. They have to keep to the preventive measures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doc. If you
You're
leave me
welcome.
again, I'll find something else. So I have to sign off now.
Yes.
Have a good night.
Bye, everybody.
I'll warm regards to your family. Thank you for sharing with us. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Bye. Back of house. Thank you for sending. Pardon me. Thank you for sending Doctor our way. Thank you for helping us overcome the challenges. The challenges we had with our technicality plus NEPA. So we've come to the very end of the program. We thank you for those of you who stayed with us till this point in time. Thank you for your support. We are grateful and we shall see you in the coming month. Have a good night, everyone. Bye for now. I'm Yetunde Durand.